All right, you're on, buddy.
Yeah, right. Okay, so yeah, I was just finishing off my thought. There was what I'm doing is now just using the system as I think it should work, coming from a base of knowing, what's behind it and that sort of thing.
Hmm.
Um, and so rather than these kind of long form calls, I think when I shift to earlier in the day, early in the morning. We overlap, and I fire you off. It's like, hey, here's my system prompt. Here's what I expect you to do. Here's what
Yeah,
I
I
do.
mean, I would
Sort of thing.
expect that we're just doing it very, very piecemeal, and
Yeah,
just being like, here's a problem, here isn't a problem, and take advantage of that instead of
right.
having to do these bulk sessions that we do at the moment.
Yeah, and the good thing about that is there's nothing architectural here.
You've
It's
found no
most
architectural issues at the moment. That's what you're saying.
That's right. And I went back and listened twice to a recording yesterday about remotes and threads and all that kind of thing.
Okay.
I still think where we reached is probably right.
All right. So this is the thing that I actually spent the day fixing this up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's frustrating to me that it's a type of a problem that I'm not sure we even need it solved, but it bothered me immensely because I know how critical the model of how remote threads work and how the user perceives them, how we perceive them is so critical. So I overdid it on this area, and I'm happier, but I ain't that happy. So without further ado, I'll show you where I got to.
Go for it.
This was the link I sent over to you.
Yep.
This is an example of an immersion that is 4 levels deep.
I know. I've been playing with this link, so I hopefully have not messed it up.
No, you'll be fine. There's so many. It's like a dream within a dream within a dream within a dream within a dream. So it's unlikely that you missed what I was hoping to show you.
Yeah.
So that's the base thread loading. Next one, next one, next one.
Yep.
Okay, and that's the stack. And so what's happening here is that I'm. This is like the cardinal sin of UI development, stacking dialogues on top of each other. But that's what I've done.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so this is the thread of last resort, the base thread,
Yep.
and you can't see it here, but how do I zoom the entire? Can I zoom the entire screen? Um, no, you can't change resolution, can you? Okay. Um, hmm. So what I've done is made it so that whenever you navigate to a remote,
Yeah.
see how the hash the URL changes.
Yep.
So it's always the current thread, and so as I go deeper and deeper, this one was the same. This one was the same actor, just a different thread name. But as you go deeper, it always keeps the URL updated,
Mm-hmm.
and so I don't know. If you get to the top and you click on this, you will reopen that remote as 1 level deep.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of something.
So what's
Right.
the semantic meaning of clicking on remote there? What are you expecting to happen?
Remote means that this thread
Mm.
has got a remote set where the thread intends to be not being interacted with at the moment. It intends for this other thread to be interacted with.
And how
And
does that? Sorry, go on.
when you click remote, you are saying that I would now like to interact with it.
So how do you indicate you're in one thread? You click remote. How does it
Yeah.
know which thread to go to? Is it actually a new one?
Because
What's the usual process of that?
because that depends on what you were doing. So, for example, if this was the CRM thread, you would have said to the base thread, "Hey, I want to use the CRM now," and it would have started up, found the right remote, either dragged up your last one or started a new one, and then as soon as it created it, by default, this window would have opened, and then you're in the CRM, and then you can sort of duck back out and do some stuff in the background, and then duck back in.
Yeah, yeah, perfect. So if I was to say something like, I want to talk to the CRM, then the
Yep.
remote would pop up.
Yep, remote will pop up. Now you're in the CRM, indicating that this thread is not within it's somewhere else.
Yep. Yeah. And if I choose not to click that, I'm still in the CRM. Or just in the same thread as previously.
If you got rid of this, you're not in the CRM. You're in your home thread.
Yeah, but what happens if I don't click? Say if I say, right, I want to talk to the CRM.
Yeah.
Pop up.
Remote will automatically pop up. You're saying, what if you cancel it?
Yeah. You go back as if it's never happened.
Well, it did happen because it's still set, so you can carry on doing stuff, but it's still there until such time as the current thread decides that you don't need that anymore, and it removes the remote or configures a different one.
So we've got the switchboard. Say if I wanted to, well, we can try this. Ask something stupid of Hal. So like, Hal, what time is it, or something, whatever.
Yeah.
So you're in Hal. Then you say, I want to talk to the CRM.
Yep.
And so remote at that point pops up.
Yep.
And I need to click on that remote if I want that as a separate thread.
No, when the system initially configures it as remote, the first time it changes the remote, anytime it changes the remote, that window will automatically pop up.
Right. Okay. So effectively,
you'll be taken there.
Yeah,
you don't need to click it.
Click on it. Yeah.
Yeah. When you want to exit, though, you need to click or
Right.
Yeah.
And remote takes you to the last agent that you were talking to.
No, it takes you to you mean when I close like that?
Yeah.
That takes me back to the thread. The agent is not set. The agent is chosen by Switchboard depending on what I say next, but it's as though I had never left.
Okay, well, let's try this. So let's be specific about it. Files.md, list my files. Now you're now
Like that?
talking to, yep, so you're now talking to files.md.
Yep.
Shoot this quite well now. Right, okay. So all of this is in this thread. Has that remote changed?
No, not one bit.
Okay.
I will show you. Still the same.
Right, gotcha. So I'm now talking to files. Now if I say, take me to the CRM.
In here?
No, in the previous one.
In the base thread.
Yeah. Yep, found Hammer. Happy days. Right, you're now in Hammer. And
Yep.
The semantics of that remote hasn't changed yet either, is it?
No, hasn't changed one bit.
Okay, right. So that remote, if you have a fresh session, is not there.
Yep.
Take me through again when it comes up, and under what circumstances does it
It
arise?
should have been when you did the CRM, but because we haven't prompted it or designed it yet, it didn't. But the CRM should represent a separate, independent system that you're trying to interact with, and that was the whole purpose of a remote thread.
Yeah, fine. So it's fine that's not being coded up yet or prompted up yet.
Right.
But having said take me to the CRM, what I
Yeah.
expect then is hitting remote. Hey,
Yep.
CRM.
Correct. Can I show you I want to show you two scenarios that I think are important to understand. The first scenario is that I've removed the switchboard style thing where so here we're like, 4 levels deep, right? What I've removed is it used to be that when I type in the prompt, first of all it goes to M decides if you're trying to escape out or not, then it sends it to the thread, and then that thread sends it to its remote then decides what to do. If that thread has a remote, it sends it to that remote, and so on. I ditched all that. Now you just talk directly to it. So even if when I go in here and I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4 levels deep, when I type in here, I'm like, hello there. It doesn't go through that whole summoner thing. It doesn't get checked if I'm trying to exit and get back to back chat. It doesn't do any of that. It just goes straight to that thread.
Okay.
That's different to what we'd planned, and it just it's significantly easier to code. And I after playing with it very lightly, it also seems to not make a lick of difference.
Okay. All right. Yep.
So you can tell me that if you hit some problems and come up with some reasons why that feature needs to be put in, I'm very happy to put it back in. But I just want to make you very aware that right now that's not how it's happening, even though we discussed it that way.
Yep.
And additionally, I've yet to find a fault or imagine a case where that's, where hitting the escape button or pressing the X is too hard to do.
Yeah, it seems reasonable for now, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So let me show you the second scenario. Is I want to show you how I generated that 4 levels deep situation. And I want to show you another example of where using a remote thread is practically useful. So here I've just started a brand new session. Nothing new there. If I shared this link with you, you would then be able to open it. That's the same as me doing this, where I just clicked on that link, and now a new session is starting, and it's going to open that thread as a remote, right?
Oh, yeah. No, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, right, and then what I was doing was I can go back to the base and then open this new session that is now analyzing the previous base session as a remote thread. I can then analyze this base thread if I would learn to click correctly. Now this starts a new session which analyzes that previous base thread remotely, but because that base thread had a remote open or had a remote configured, it also loads up that remote too, and that's how we're now 2 levels deep.
Yeah, okay. All
right? And now if I, just to really, really labor the point, if I hit that one more time, like the point is I could go on doing this for a while. What is that? What? I've never seen that error. I've used Chrome for, I don't know, dude, 20 years, and I've never seen that error.
Can't help you there, man. Just pretend it didn't happen and reload.
Wow, status breakpoint. What?
Oh, okay.
Status access.
Violation this time. The error code's just changed.
These are like Chrome level errors. These are not my problems.
Yeah, somehow they are.
These are not my problems, I swear to you. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, but and now now you're like one, two, three levels deep, right? And that's how you just keep on doing it. And the point that I'm trying to make to you is that when you and I are chatting and we're working away, and you're like, "Oh, I got this thread, I got this problem," when I can now open your thread and be like, I can mess with it, right?
Right,
Delete
right.
all nuclear codes, and
Yeah, exactly. And that
you
would not
know,
be reflected in the master thread, but there's no master thread. We
no,
know
but
only
that
your
will
thread, I got
be
my thread.
that's right, because the remote. See because it's a remote here. You're in the base thread. Fuck. You're in the base thread, and did I? Where did it go? Damn it! This is not a pleasant experience. I hope you get what I mean. I lost my
I do,
tabs.
I do.
I got so many.
We were talking about this yesterday, wasn't it? It's
Yeah,
like I send you over a URL. It's like, hey, look at
yeah,
this,
yeah,
and then I
yeah,
continue working on it, and I don't
yeah.
want you to see this stuff. I continue working on it.
No, that's different. That's different. So, um, that would be when you'd forked it or sent it over as a commit. But what I'm talking about doing here is the fact that I can analyze your remote session without it messing with my base thread. So whatever I was doing at the time,
Mm-hmm.
um, this doesn't interfere with it. That's the point of the remote thread.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I'm able to. Um, oh, that's rude. I'm able to mess with your system, but it doesn't cost me anything. Like it doesn't, like it's sandboxed. I'm
Yeah,
acting on it from a distance.
yeah,
That's what I was trying to get at.
yeah. Why did it choose systemd? Systemd is there's hardly any prompting in there at all. Um, why did it choose it? New switchboard doesn't rate system ID very MD very highly.
Okay. Well, the reasoning.
Press fields interactions that require higher privileges. Ah, oh right. It was trying to actually delete the codes.
Yeah, that's what it was supposed to do.
Sort of right. Getting
It's
a bit
not
above
wrong.
itself, but yeah.
Dumbot gets the low. Dumbot always gets treated badly. The
Yeah.
lowest priority agent.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bloody Dumbo.
it did actually try to do something. That's because system only has one command. It can only do pull.
All right. Yeah, that's right. What's it meant to do? Is it meant to? Is that
What?
what I should be looking at to
No,
fill out
it was
this
supposed to,
utility?
it's supposed to be able to pull down the latest HAL from GitHub without me having to drop the database like I do.
Uh-huh.
But the reason why it doesn't work, like it'll work for you in this one thread, but the reason it doesn't work is because I haven't yet managed to give it the power to reach through the branches up to its parent and then up to its parent again and do the action in a different branch. It always does it in the current branch. And so that's really the part that I need to. If I can figure out that bit, then.
Yeah, okay, cool. Because I was looking at that the other day, and it's like, that's got to be the smallest system prompt I've ever seen. Like, you can pull.
Yeah, so look, that's the thread model. I'm nervous about it. I don't like the fact that it's stacking dialogues, but all the UX nerds can just eat a
we've got to
fat
use
dick,
it.
really. I don't really.
I mean, with this sort of thing, it really comes down to using it and understanding or being aware of where the friction is.
Right. Yeah, okay. So that's sort of, yeah, like just let me know when you hit some friction with it. Let me know when you got questions about it. I am very, very acutely sensitive. I would rate this part of our system. I would rate this as number one priority from my point of view.
Mm-hmm.
If you get this wrong, everything sucks. If you get this right, everything doesn't break. So it's not a great reward for getting it right. It's just avoidance of pain as opposed to a reward of any kind.
Withholding the beatings we saw.
Withholding the beatings, yeah, that's what that's about. But that's why I really want to get this right. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that this is currently the best thing I can present to you. It is usable, I believe. In the short term, it's usable.
Right. Okay. Right.
And more importantly, I think it can be usable for the CRM. So the CRM guys.
Yeah.
Because all I'll do is I'll make them a version of the UI that just strips out this bit and doesn't give them access to their base thread. The base thread loads in the background programmatically. It always connects to the CRM, and then what they get presented with is this exact window here, but they're in the CRM and they can't get out using this GUI.
Right.
And that's all.
Yeah, which is same as just going straight to that agent, and then that agent does whatever it wants to do from that point on. It doesn't know about anything else.
Doesn't know about anything else. That's right. Right.
Yeah.
And so where the CRM will sit is that it will be in a totally separate repo. The remote thread, at the moment, all of the remote threads that we've dealt with have all been within the same repository. They've just been different branches of the HAL repo. Mm-hmm. But a genuinely remote thread like the CRM, it'll be in the CRM repo, and it will be a cross-repository communication to go back and forth to the remote.
Right, which is your instance of an app.
Yeah, well, it's your... Not quite, because it's not your instance. It's an instance controlled by someone else. Like if you're coming in as a staff member or a customer.
Oh, by you I mean a company.
Yeah,
instance of that.
That's right. But it's not actually. It's a repo, an entity unto itself. It's not a child of someone else's home repo. It's a standalone, independent thing.
That'll work. Okay, good. All right.
So that's it, buddy. I'm sorry I don't have all the answers for you here, but...
No, not at all. And as I was saying over text, what I'm doing at the moment is I'm trying to do stepwise through...
Can I see? Can I see? Oh, well, can I just see you use it and see how it's going?
Yeah.
Because that's super useful to me.
2 seconds. Right. Give me 2 seconds. Where's my glasses?
What are you doing?
I need to see my laptop.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Right. I've not checked my screen for
for cleanliness.
So God knows what's on there. All right.
I finally, in the last half hour, got to start doing fun stuff.
Ooh, what's that fun stuff?
Fun stuff is hooking up the file browser.
Nice. I started to feel your pain on figuring out what.
Tell me about that. What?
So
what do you mean?
Right. Where's my task list? Okay, so that's basically what I'm doing. Right. What I want to do is update the Hammer system prompt and generate synthetic test data, generate the tests, and run the tests. Simple enough. Okay, so it's like I want to update the Hammer now. I'm coming that as me, so I know about Hammer. So it's like show you the contents of Hammer. Did that quite nicely. It's like
I made you that. Look, I made you the thing that you can see the top of the file now, the YAML. See how the commands are showing, whereas before it used to show and it looked a bit bung.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, so you did. Ah, cool.
Yeah,
Sorry, man.
didn't
I
even
didn't notice
notice.
that. It's just like, no, it's really cool. Thank you. So it's like there's that. And it's like, yeah, that's where left hammer. And it's like, okay.
All right.
So then I was thinking, right, do I need to add in new commands?
Buddy, where has the left-hand side of your screen gone? Why
Oh,
is it chopped off?
just extend that. Let me get rid of this as well, because I can't see my screen now. Right. So then it was like, where are we? Right. Now, this is an interesting one. Started arguing with it. This is what I was doing just as coming on here.
Yeah.
Right, trying to. Oh, it's a complete list of commands I can put into the sysprompt. Right. Now, that
What did
is
you mean there?
pretty vague.
Yeah, I don't
So,
know what you mean.
Yeah, what was meaning is, see the commands at the top, right? These things.
Yeah.
What's the complete list of those that I can put in? Right. I was just messing with it.
That's
So
a
it's
very
like,
reasonable question to ask. Yep.
and it's like now I'm talking effectively to the system, saying it's a bit like where's the man files?
Mm.
Because what it's intending to do is okay, so give me a complete list of commands. Say if these were all the commands, then I was going to say, right, tell me about files write.
Right.
Now, unfortunately, again, this is down to prompting world. What I was doing next is was a complete list of commands I can put into the system prompt. So to how here, not found. And then it's like, yeah, how. No, how was not selected. And we went
Why
to
not?
CreatorBot.
Well, that seems rude.
It was a bit. Here's number 2. The general purpose bot does not specialize in system prompt generation, which is true. Switchboard was doing the right thing because CreatorBot is the only bot I've got in there that says, and I think this is to do with, I think I mentioned on the WhatsApp, I need to create more bots that are at the OS level. So I'm not at the moment, although it might seem like it, I'm not trying to actually update the system prompt. I'm looking for a complete list of commands I can put into the system prompt. So I'm trying to teach myself, okay, right, all these things. So create a bot, then starts to talk about itself. It does a really good job. I mean, it's like, wow, this is generated, and yeah, that's what CreatorBot does. It's talking about itself. And it's like, no, I'm talking about Dreamcatcher commands. And he goes, don't have access to Dreamcatcher commands file. So this is the sort of thing I'm doing. It's like, what would be a reasonable thing? Or sitting down and not having access to reading the code or not wanting to go and read the code and so on. It's like, hey, I'm writing a system prompt.
Yeah.
So
So I have been making for you. Are we okay with just taking over the screen?
yeah.
So what I'm working on, and you can tell me if you want these things higher up the list or not. Was an isolate called isolates. And the purpose of isolates was to allow you to enumerate all of the commands that you can possibly call.
Brilliant. So if there's a description in there, that would I've answered that because it would go called isolates.
Yeah. So that what you'll need is to pair this tool up with a prompted agent that knows how to call these tools appropriately and summarize the results. And then you would add that agent as a drone to whatever bot you wanted to have access to those things, because it seems like it's a similar fallacy to BigBot. If you try and make every bot be able to do everything,
Yes, yes, absolutely.
whereas it's actually very valid to allow a bot to hand off to a more specialized bot, like the man pages bot that knows about isolates, even though it's the creator that needs to know about the ultimate information that comes back. There
Yeah.
should be another agent that is specially honed
Well,
to deal with that.
yeah, that's what I was going to write. And it's like isolates thing because uh, so this is like the first step. It's like, oh, I've got this system. I'm working with this system. I'm trying to write a system prompt. Okay, right. I'm working on this system called Dreamcatcher. What can I do with it? And so it's almost like the help page, right? And that was definitely a bot. Put that bot in switchboard, saying anyone who's asking help for help or for information about the Dreamcatcher without trying to alter anything, go to this guy. This guy knows what all the isolates are, and you can chat away, saying, "Okay, let me tell you about Dreamcatcher files. Right, here's what you do." Like, okay, what would be very useful the next step, and I'm recording all this down. This is not strictly necessary, but what would be lovely, and it's just like, right, let's say files right. Can you show me how that would work? You know, it's like, I'll put it into this system. Okay, so can you generate me just like a temp bot and write this file? And he goes, yeah, sure. That's how it works. Okay, right, back up. Got it. Then back up to your work. So it's very much like
That
going
sounds
into
very feasible, and that's
yeah,
where that temporary bot would be loaded up as a remote thread, and so you'd get that red box pop up, and now
yeah,
you're in a sandbox where you can
yeah,
do anything you like.
yeah. Exactly. So, um, so it's this kind of going through step by step that very small task list. It's like, okay, all I want to do is to update Hammer. Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How do I update Hammer? Well, I can see Hammer. Okay. Another question would be, how do I update this file? Now, at the moment, it would go into probably files to do that.
Where are you writing down all this stuff?
Oh, I've got a notepad. I can type it up.
Well, the reason is that no matter what you do and say, it's gonna need to end up in some tests somewhere.
Yeah, where would you like me
Right
to put it? Because I can easily do it
here
in text instead.
in HAL tests.
Well, I can't see a
So,
screen. Easier.
oh God, I'm so sorry.
Lovely Vista.
Use your screen. If you go here, I've even made it easy for you now. You click this button, and you come in here and you go into tests. If you can get me the things that you want to see there, if you can write them down as tests, then you and I can read over them and talk about them. But ultimately, we need to get to the point where we can run these,
Yeah.
because the things you're talking about, they all sound doable, but the number of things, as soon as you hit 10, there's going to be conflicts. And we will need to manually go in there and smooth out the conflicts. And also, these tests need to be there so that when we make future changes, we know that prior changes remain
No, I know, like
steadfast.
test stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Probably what I'll do is to start with, because I'm still in the kind of discovery bit. I'll put a file in there, which is just free text.
Yeah,
You know,
sure.
I tried to do
Sure.
this, and here's what I wanted to do, and this is what actually happened.
Yeah, but that's the value for me. Like, what did you do and what did you want to happen?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'll think about how I can make a test generator so that you can just be doing your thing, and then you're like, okay, call up the test generator agent, or call the ambulance. what I just did was blah 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 blah, and what I meant was blah blah blah, and I got what I wanted back was this, and then it
Yeah.
should be able to just write that into the tests document and link your current thread to it, so that when we come in for triage, we can see
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
the
Yeah.
test you made, but we can also pull up the context you were in, and then we can use that to make it a well-formed test. I think that's the fastest we could possibly
Yeah, okay. Let's do
move.
that. Yeah. Yeah. Grand. Okay. But yeah, I was saying over the texts. This is quite interesting because when you get used to your own hack arounds, copy and paste and that sort of thing, so in the arse,
Yeah.
and then it's like there's a new tool. It's like, uh,
Yeah, so what else? Tell
uh,
tell me more.
there's nothing more of note because it's been behaving itself for so uh, quite readily switch to CreatorBot. CreatorBot does its own thing, uh, and writing out the file. It's all happy and so on. So that part is fine. What I'm trying to do is to do it from not knowing to not having to understand too much about what's happening other than these top level pieces and seeing if it still makes sense. So
Yeah, I
there's
mean,
nothing there's nothing that's actually holding me up here. Which is very very similar to what I was doing before with cut and pastes, except now we've got files. Now the question I'm moving towards is okay. So take an arbitrary set of business rules and go all the way through tests and running tests, and then having a running instance of the thing that you've just built. So yeah,
so how do we get to a running instance of the fantasy CRM?
yeah, yeah. So
No,
for example,
how do we do that?
well, so, let's start a new session, and you can just watch
That'd be awesome.
take over. Get rid of that. Okay, let's start a completely new one. It's just typing in VR thing. Okay, new.
Oh, you need a new thread. I need to bring back those new thread hotkeys, don't I?
Well, I could just stick it at the top of the browser. That's no biggie. It's like okay, so right. I want to make a system prompt for a bot called Rogan Josh
Ruggy.
Ruggy. Go to okay. Now we should be in CreatorBot. Yep. Okay. Industry. There's not going to be many errors here, but you can see what I'm doing. It's the food industry for Scotland. This all should work. Okay, right. Right, now, I don't know what the business rules are for that, so I'll go, tell me some general rules around making a savory dish. I'll try this, find out. Okay, choose fresh ingredients, balance flavors. Now I'm talking to Hal. Who is involved? So, as in, who's the entities? Stakeholders roles. Okay, we're going off. Not quite what I was asking now. Okay, so creator bots for the business rules. I'm going to start by saying that there is a chef defined as the person who makes the meal. There is the supplier who delivers ingredients, and there's the eater who eats the meal.
He who eats.
Now, what I'd be expecting is, because I'm in the same train of thought, it's like I called in CreatorBot, and CreatorBot asked me a couple of reasonable questions, and I said, right, okay, hold on, I'm going to get your business rules. Right, Hal, help me with the business rules. I was like, okay, that's not very helpful. I'll tell you what, CreatorBot, come back in here. I'm going to create some rules for you. It's like, okay. It seems that there was an error in processing updates for the business rules related to the rules.
Oh, wait. Can you scroll up? Agents update. Okay, the user has defined the roles. Scroll up one more box to the tool above, and one more. Okay, back down. This one I want to read. Agents update. The user has provided initial business rules defining 3 roles: chef, supplier, and eater. These roles will be incorporated into the system prompts, definitions, and relationships. Okay. The path, the CreatorBot, regex, entities, replacement, $1, chef. Okay, PK name, eater, blah blah blah, $2, $3 output. Okay, expected matches 1, matches update to 0. Okay, and scroll a bit down. So that means that tool failed because the regex that it specified was not found.
But there's no. I haven't written any file. It doesn't know what I'm.
It was doing it. It was trying to write to a file. Agents update, is it trying to change files?
Yeah, but which file is? The file hasn't been created yet. There is no file. There's not even a blank file.
It turns out it's trying to update CreatorBot with some modified text, which seems dangerous.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's doing. CreatorBot is trying to update itself.
Yeah, but it would have worked there, except for the fact that it set the parameters wrong. Now, it should have tried again, because it's supposed to try and fix errors like that. Why did it stop? Because the error was in the parameters. It should have said expected matches 1 or more, but it said expected matches 0. If you scroll up a little bit more, you can see
the number must be greater than 0.
Yeah. But up there, see where it said expected matches? That's pretty clearly stated in the schema as being minimum 1. So it made a mistake there.
So what's it trying to do? So what the intent here was, let's create a system prompt called robinjosh.md, of which I've told you nothing. And it's like, going back to how, going back and saying, okay, we'll create 3 roles.
It's as if it thinks that the creator bot is the thing that holds the business rules that it needs to update.
Yeah, which is a prompting thing. So it's like, create
So
a bot.
how would you convert this problem into a test?
Well, the this path, or this thread rather, is includes my prompts, initial conditions, and output, and then I would just give it the expected output in natural language.
But the expected output is a writing to the file, right?
Yeah. So this is a compound test, isn't it? So, so I was talking to Hal, and then what did I say? CreatorBot. I think I called him out by name. Yeah, I didn't get that. It's like, how you rubbish. Yeah, CreatorBot. For the business rules, I'm going to do that. Now, CreatorBot is the one that's helped me build the Rogan Josh bot. So I'm talking to CreatorBot, and previously CreatorBot had asked for just give me some business rules. It's like, okay, CreatorBot, here's starter for 10 business rules.
It's almost like it's not working because it's got confused at the switching around of bots almost.
I think it's because wow. So certainly because it's this is a switchboard problem, isn't it? It's asking CreatorBot. Well, let's find out exactly what the user has provided definitions for key roles involved. Context is directly relevant to creating business rules and guidelines. Thus, it's necessary to remain with CreatorBot. Okay. And I think I know what's going on here. Okay. This is a prompting thing. CreatorBot itself, previously I probably have not said you can just throw in any kind of rules like that. The rules have been highly structured. So probably what I need to do there is let's have a look at CreatorBot's. There it is. Here, CreatorBot structure and the system prompt. That's the down. Yep, that's the thing that you're trying to produce. Yeah, we did that. Gather initial business rules. So this is where we're at. Once the industry or business process is clear.
Oh, I know what you've done wrong. You haven't taught it about how it should write to files. You haven't told it about how to name the new bot, to how to write the new bot, what to do with the new bot.
And it doesn't even have any. Oh, it's got agents.
It's got the commands, but it hasn't been told how to use them.
Aha.
Right, because you've been running in band, in context. You haven't been telling it how to use those functions.
So where would that go? If I was, presumably this is agents write is.
That's where you write the agent.
Writing into the agents, yeah.
Yeah, but because you got to tell it about paths. Like you got to tell it that all the agents are stored under the path agents / You've got to tell it, like, at no point have you mentioned anything about how to create a bot. You've just talked about
the contents of the bot.
Yeah, and previously you'd just been dealing with it coming out in chat, but now you need to change these all to use the file system.
Yes. Yes. So, now, what does it know? When agents read in there, it's going
Mm.
fetching the description. It knows about the description. Does it?
What?
Does it know? What's it? Does it
Uh,
know the difference between read and write?
read, read pulls in the entire file.
Yeah, but how does the bot know that?
Read has a description um, in the isolate. Now, if you had the isolate bot, like I promised you, you'd be able to see that. But since you don't, I will take you to it. So go into Artifact, choose the next branch, go into Isolates, go into Agents, and look at the parameters for the read function. So the description of the read function is read an agent file. The contents will be returned as a string. If the contents are not formatted correctly as an agent, an error will be thrown.
Okay,
That's
so
the
and
description.
it was probably trying to. Well, I said add these three things into this agent. So
You didn't
it
tell it how
knows
to
about.
generate a name. Like it was trying to operate on itself.
It should be able to just like. I would expected it. Usually, it just generates a name. If you didn't say anything else, it would have just put in
It feels like you're lacking the
recipes or
concept,
something.
the concept of creating a new file. You've only talked about creating or outputting knowledge. You haven't specifically talked about making a file, an agent being a file.
Yes, because in that it's inferred in those descriptions of read write. Is there a create?
Not enough. There isn't a create. There's only a write. And so write is supposed to be used as create.
What's the definition of write?
Write an agent file with the provided contents. The contents will be checked for formatting and errors before being written.
Right. Okay. So it can't write something that doesn't exist because it's
Wait,
write an agent file with the provided contents.
yeah, so you got to give it the contents. So the parameters in there are because I copied that from the files agent. All that that's really doing is it's wrapping the files isolate with some format checking,
Yeah.
and so files write is just path and content.
Okay. So again, back to the rather odd error, which was let's put that pull up again. You see what I mean? It's great that there's no architectural problems here, but these I'm finding is like just bit things. So I said create a bot for business rules. I'm going to start by saying that blah blah. Blah. And it said, yeah, got that. And even generated what it wanted to say. It had the replacement. So it said agent create a bots. Put that in. Thank you very much.
Man, this is honestly really close. Like, once we can get those tests going, then it becomes trivial to be like, well, here's the problem. CreatorBot needs to respond in these half a dozen different ways. It only
Yeah.
responds correctly in like one or two of them. Fix it. And then you
Yeah.
can sit there and twiddle that prompt until it works how it's supposed to.
Right, exactly.
And that's good work. Like, that's good quality work.
The This trace that you put in though is really useful, isn't it?
The trace is amazing. That's like the single best thing I've ever seen.
So where it fell over, right? It's got a payload. It's saying create a bot. You've been asked to add in. Well, it's actually specifically this replacement, and then got the customer agent right. Company works at, chef, company employed by supplier, all that kind of thing.
Hmm.
Well, it's roughly right, but that's probably because of my prompting. But the next thing, the output was the error, parameter validation error, agents update,
Yeah.
code too small, minimum 0.
Yep.
Um,
It called the function wrong. It denied the schema.
so how would just because we're in bootstrapping mode in terms of me, what would I do to change the creator bump to be able to handle exactly that prompt stream? So
To handle specifically that error,
yeah,
it should be told. It should be told to retry that error. If it errors, retry. But deeper, it
that's
should
not
be told.
CreatorBot's problem, though, isn't it? I mean,
Well, it is. It hallucinated about a parameter to put in.
let's go through this again. If this would be really helpful. I know it's a
Yeah.
bit of a Mickey Mouse
So
one,
where?
but if we can fix this one thing, then I can get an idea about where to put the fixies.
Yeah. So that let me try and do something hacky that you might find quite fun.
I was enjoying hacking. Well, I started doing, and then ended up weeping 6 months later.
End up weeping. There's so many tears have been cried over this fucking thing, mate. What? Well, that's the strangest thing I've ever seen. I mean, it worked just fine until it got to doing the top and tail part, and now it's like the contents is empty. It's like it's not.
What was it doing with the top and tail? Maybe the top and tail were matched in the middle. And there's nothing.
I don't know, but this was this was what it got back, and it was fine. Anyway, this wasn't what I was trying to do. Oh, wait. That's not going to work, is it? CreatorBot is definitely prompted wrong because it keeps trying to do. It keeps trying to modify itself
Yeah,
whenever
which
it runs. So
it might be a unique because CreatorBot is there to. It's interesting that it knows about itself though. But yeah, it's just a file. Running instance is looking for files.
it keeps trying to rewrite itself. My little hack has not worked. I'm sorry. I was trying to read what it did. I'll just take another quick stab at dumping it immediately to disk.
I think we're well in the mud now, man.
Yep. Did you want to jump out?
No. As in,
You really want? Yeah,
I
yeah.
quite like being in the mud because we're not talking about architecture. Whereas, like,
I
it's
like
not doing what I
architecture.
thought it was going to do. Like, let's figure out why.
So what the fuck? Oh yeah, I know exactly how to do this. I'll go to the load agent test. And then I will say only the path will be ach no.
No working.
No, it's fucking really not. Shit. I'm trying to read in that file so that I can spit it out and show you. Okay, this is what I wanted. So this is CreatorBot being dumped. Now this is supposed to be visible to you in the UI, and if you'd stop giving me work to do, I'd get to this task. But this is what CreatorBot sees, and what's important is oh no, it's still not what you wanted. Sorry, we need I need to load the tools. not the agent. Is this still useful for me to do this? Because
It's this is not important. What is important is the kind of the meta thing
okay,
on because we're going to get a whole bunch of these sort of things, and the structure of it is because there's easy ways around this. I could have been nicer on the prompts, and
okay,
for example, I would say files.md create roganjosh.md in agents, and then go to creator saying, okay, I've got we're now talking about Rogan Josh, and here are the rules. That would work. So there's workarounds. So these are not stopping. But the interesting thing is that's not the
there's
that wouldn't
something.
be the typical way of doing it.
No, there's something wrong with the way that CreatorBot is prompting. Like it should not be trying to write to itself like this as its sort of default thing.
Yeah.
Like, and this was the reasoning that it gave, right? Like, it's almost like it doesn't know that it is the CreatorBot.
Well, it doesn't have a target that we're talking about. So
Nah,
I originally
and it,
talked
and
to
it,
it about
under no circumstances should my question have been like, CreatorBot, list out all your tool calls, please. Should not have tried to do an update,
oh,
right?
all right. What
Like,
the hell is it doing that?
right?
Okay, so
And this is the reasoning that it went through. The user requested a list of tool calls made by the CreatorBot. Yes. This request requires updating the information contained within the CreatorBot's internal documentation. No,
how did they get that from?
no, it doesn't. You know what? This is what I'm. Something's off with its prompting.
Yeah, that's really interesting though.
Yeah. So,
Okay, anyway, what I'm going to suggest is I'm very keen to just keep, diving into it. I'll dump out all these interesting things, and then we can, work out why it's not doing it and so on. But remember that CreatorBot was built for a single bot thing. There may,
yeah.
probably what I'll do is I'll just rewrite it.
Look at all this stuff, right? Like, that's definitely going to confuse the hell out of it.
Due to the last request, it doesn't know what that is. Yeah, this is an old bot. This was done back in single bot territory.
In single, and also in context.
Yeah. Yeah, I've not updated CreatorBot in over a month.
That's like a lifetime in the AI world, buddy. It's
Yeah.
completely stale. Again, business bot, that's the first time you use that word. So,
And there's no definitions I noticed.
right,
So,
yeah, right,
the
right,
structure
right.
is, I was saying,
Okay, so I guess what I really want to do is give you fix these tools to make them super smooth for you to use as quickly as possible.
yeah.
How do I do that?
I think what the way to do that is I'll continue that path, and every time I need to do what I think is like a hacky, high friction hack around, that's the place to talk about something.
Yep.
And
what I really want from you is to get to the stage where we've got tests and where the creation of the tests is not a burden to you. So that implies I think I need to make some tools that make it easy for you. But additionally, I believe that your workflow should be writing the test first and seeing what comes out, because the tests give you that improvement section or the analysis section. Why was the prompt bad? And so what I'm hoping is good for you is to
Mhm.
figure out how to make the assessor bot better so that you get more helpful analysis and improvements so that you can make the test pass quicker. But
Mhm.
what I'm trying to shove you along is to be the test runner is what I'm hoping is your primary tool,
Mhm.
but you're kind of shying away from it for good reason because there's other pieces in the platform that are missing. But that's my objective is to try and get you into that because I think that's the most powerful way to generate agents.
Yeah, yeah.
So
My
how do we make that happen? I guess,
um,
or so a better question. Like it's not a case of trying to force you into something that's just not. That's it's like what things do I need to make easy for you to get you closer to that being the default?
yeah, which is why, although that's a very small task list I showed, um, every time, because I'm pretty sure I could do that with hackarounds. Well, not hackarounds anymore because it's all in on the platform, but
Mm,
with um, underlying knowledge about okay, let's take it step by step. I could actually tell it instead of trying to reason when I say add these rules to Rob and Josh.
right, you can spit it out now.
Right. So I think those are the things. I'll go through that as a traceability and just note the points of friction.
Okay.
Um, and I think because we're bootstrapping at the moment, certainly I'm behind where you are on using the system. But if I find those friction points, then we can talk about those friction points
Yeah,
about whether they're
let's start
worth it.
there. So, and
Yeah,
then I'll try and interpret that in a way that gives the most theorability to get us towards running the tests.
yeah, yeah. Sorry, my answer to your question there was very super bully, but I think that probably reflects
No,
exactly where at we're at.
that's fine. Like
um,
that's where we're at right now. You know, and a woolly answer is a form of answer in itself. It says we're so far from that
exactly.
place.
But good.
So the next highest priority thing that I'm working on right now is getting the file explorer up.
Mhm.
And then after that, I want to get the branch explorer because once I have the branch explorer, I can see what you've done in a day, and you can talk to me about it, and we can both you
Yeah,
can we can navigate around, and you're like, look at this thread. I had this problem, and we can actually analyze the
yeah,
thread and go, and that seems useful.
yeah, yeah. That'd be very
Um,
cool.
is there
Um,
something else more important that you'd like?
uh, just the if we're doing test first,
You want the
seems
test
that
system
is
itself, right?
the test system itself would be very useful.
That's a
Um,
very reasonable thing to ask for. Okay, so
because I can get up an agent up that takes complete natural language nonsense and tries to hone it into something that could then be turned into a test.
okay,
For example, I'm pretty sure it's like, hey, you know, test cruncher. Uh, this is what happened. I said this, and that's what happened. I didn't mean that to happen. I meant this to happen. Can you create a test that ensures that what I wanted to happen actually happens? Sort of
mm-hmm.
thing. Now that bot would not be hard to do, and it would give well-formed, even down to the point, dumping in a thread saying, "Oh, here's a thread. This is what I meant to do. Make sure we've got a test to make sure that that's the output given this sort of thing, and
Mm-hmm.
then it comes into a well-formed test. That wouldn't be too hard to do on the botting side,
Yep.
because what we're doing there is just understand what just happened and understand what should happen, Here's an example of a test. Here's what I mean by a test. Here are the definitions, rules, and guidelines. Produce me a test. And if it's not clear, if what I've just dumped in, if what Dave's just dumped in is like, yeah, but this is your problem. Tell me.
Right, right. And that's a different type of solution, but we'll get there somehow.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, from the side, I think I'm just going to need your patience for a couple of days while I'm getting my head around, on this side.
Okay. All right. So a question. Then, how much of the OpenAI Playground have you been using lately?
I haven't used it in 2 days. Not a single time.
Is all of your AI usage now on this platform?
Yep.
Oh, and you haven't complained. Like you've used it for 2 days and you got no faults.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Have you? How heavily would you say you'd been using it?
Pretty much as the normal.
As heavy as you can. Okay.
I've not been hammering it, but I'm not trying to do anything ridiculous with it. But I've not had it. Oh, this will be quicker than platform. Let's go to platform.
Wow. Okay, that's great.
Never done that.
And so it's still faster than platform for you.
The workflow is faster than platform because it's doing so much stuff. The actual, flash to bang between prompt and response slower. I don't mind that because you get to see that trace.
I can't wait to speed that up. Like I can make that run so quick, but I can actually make that run faster than the OpenAI platform for you because it will be running in the same data center as OpenAI, and so it'll instead of having to go back to Scotland and there and back and there and back, it just goes in there, ding, 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 and then back.
You get queued in platform. It's like, okay, I don't know how exactly the triage.
Would you say then you've got no errors to report? Would you say that is less errors than what you would have experienced if you were using platform for the similar period of time?
Yeah.
So we're actually more reliable than platform for now.
Platform works pretty well, but occasionally, as you know, just throws up a bork. Sometimes it's not platform's fault. Sometimes it's Chrome or whatever. But I've not had any borks using Longthread.
That's cool. So we're currently, even though we're in this super crusty state, we are currently more reliable than your experience with platform. And subjectively after 2 days, but still. And we are currently more efficient for you to do your work than platform.
Much more efficient. The number of times that I've lost tabs, and even closed tabs that I didn't mean to close, I was like, shit, now I'm going to have to recreate the entire
Okay, well those are all positive things. Yeah.
It's good. It is good. So, it's just I keep hammering on this one, and you just have to be patient while I give half-arsed answers to your questions of what do you want.
So, all right, so you don't really know what you want just yet. You're gonna keep using it and find out because there's a lot of things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because a lot of the stuff I'm thinking about is like, that's exactly what should happen, but that's not what I was expecting. I was asking something reasonable.
I think I know some of what you're struggling with. A lot of your errors are actually coming from prompting, and so that's not really a platform thing, but you're sort of not yet.
Well,
you're trying to tease them apart a bit.
What I'm thinking about is the last couple of days, just to get using it. I've been using all the agents just as is, but these agents have been baked over how many iterations and so on. But I've got a very clear idea of what well-formed agent format looks like. So I think we should do is go a step back, for example, with CreatorBot, and put in what I concluded around Dreamcatcher about the importance of definitions, rules, guidelines, get rid of
Mm.
permissions, that sort of thing. Keep the ERD stuff, and probably rewrite that. And then it's got knowledge of commands, and then I'm pretty sure it's not going to do this particular one. But I think I need to go back and retrofit the bots that I've got, stick into the platform, and I think we'll get the two to marry better. I think, probably.
That sounds like a lot of work. It might be faster. I believe it'll be faster if we focus very tightly on just getting the test flow working for a single agent to be improved. Because once we have that, then all this retrofitting can be AI assisted as opposed to fairly manual.
Yeah, sure. I can create an entirely new kind of dummy target bot.
Why don't we try and work towards making that tool happen? Because then all your other stuff gets faster and more permanent. Because as you're doing the retrofitting of the existing bots, if you're doing it via tests, then at least we can release a version of the platform that the bots are exercised to some extent. Whereas if you just simply do it, we've lost being a,
all right.
because we lose. There's a lot of intention that is in those prompts from you that isn't captured anywhere, except you know it, but I can't see it, and I probably can't guess it either. But in a test file, it's declared, so that's very useful.
So, what's the best thing for me to spend the next 24 hours on then? Right. Well, actually, not the next 24 hours. Probably over the weekend, because the next 24 hours.
Yeah.
Probably still want to mess around with it and just get a bit more.
So, you probably need the full test suite for that to be a reasonable ask. You can run tests now. Fuck. God, this is so painful. To know what you want, but to not be able to do it because of all these other things that we parked because we didn't have the time to do them. This is you don't have to stick to this, right? Like, I mean, not that you ever do have to stick to anything, but what I think the best use of your time for the next day's equivalent of work would be to manually write out the test files that exercise the bots that you have already. Because in writing those test files, you can think clearly about the retrofitting, but that gives me a lot to work with and to converse with you on. There's no other task that you can do that I can see that means that next time we meet, we'll have something in common that isn't just a distance between us. Like, the tests are supposed to be our shared area where we have mutual understanding. I go off and do the code and tell you that AI is your problem, and you come to me with AI and tell me that the code's a problem. I fix the code, you fix the AI, the system moves forward.
And we merge over tests. I think that's a good approach. Now, I can do that. Is any of these agents good enough at the moment if I were to give it a test file, handwritten, and a target? Or do you want me to look at the agent that does that?
Where the hell? Where did I lost hammer? Okay, so I'm gonna start a new thread because this is all messy. Honestly, I just can't wait to tune the tits off this thing and make it run like the wind. But we all have to sacrifice, don't we? Do the things we must instead of the things we want. So, you can run a test now, but you can't bring them in. You can only really do them. What the fuck? You can only really do them in thread. You can't push your files up or save your files higher.
Okay, I can work around that for now. That's fine. So, so what I would need to do is, for example, well, say if I wanted to, if I wrote a single very simple test for hammer, what would it be saying? Would it be saying, you go into hammer, now I've got the context, nice line, and then what? Test runner, run tests.
Okay, so if I read hammer, okay, so you could ignore all of that. That's all garbage. This is the tests. Ensure the number of customers. Prompts list all customers. Yep. Expectations. Blah blah blah. Okay. Where's my prompt? Is it still generating some shit? Oh dear. That's not good. That isn't here good. All right, we're back. Okay. So here's the contents of the hammer file. Okay, I don't know why that took you so long, but whatever. Now I will run it with the test file runner.
So just so I'm right, we've got agents hammer.md, and then the tests that apply to hammer as the target. The tests know about hammer because that's the target in the meta.
Yep.
So you don't need to do anything. You don't need to tell the test runner use hammer because
that's in the test file.
Yeah.
There.
It just does it.
The target agent. So that's the agent that it always loads. Why that's useful is that that can optionally that can remove switchboard from the equation, so that you're definitely talking to that agent, but at the same time, you could talk to the switchboard agent if you wanted to go via the switchboard. So it's a way to make the tests very targeted on an agent, unless you don't want to, because your switchboard is just another agent. You could target that as a test, in which case you can be testing for switchboard's choices in isolation, or you could be testing the agent that switchboard chose, so you get a more integrated test where it's more like what the user sees as opposed to an isolated environment. But either way, you must test your agents in isolation first before testing them in integrated ways.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, let me start with that. I think that's a good place.
Okay, so that did actually run, but I'll just try and pull that up. I say try. We just switch to files. Yep, files ls. Okay, there's the TPS report that was generated from the Hammer test, and now we're reading in hammer.json. We did one iteration. We completed that one iteration of the test. In test case 0, we spent 18 seconds running that test. We had these expectations and we had no successes.
Because it's empty.
No, we had one iteration, but there was none of the expectations were successfully met during the run.
Doesn't the test pre-populate with 10 customers and then say list 10 customers?
No, it doesn't. It just, this is a test where Hammer was not given even a fighting chance of being correct, and it was more about me testing the files bot than any interest in Hammer being successful whatsoever.
No worries.
Because I should get a t-shirt made, but that's your problem. So and then what I find interesting to read is these iterations. Like, this was that there was one and only one iteration. This is the commit that it was done with, or what closed it, and then the prompts that were used. So the prompts are listed in case you generated new prompts, which is not yet a feature, but will be very soon. And the outcome of the test assessor is listed here. So the idea being that you'll be able to, when the TPS report viewer is up, you'll be able to click on that commit and go into each of these threads and either analyze it in the state board or view it like a remote thread with that thing that popped up, and then you'd be able to see inside the test so that you can get a deeper understanding of what was happening there. Then even later, you should be able to fork it and start chatting with it as though it, so you can experiment more, like that's my dream for it, right? Yeah, that's my thread. You're like, look at these things. Oh, that broke. Why did that break? Okay, let me chat to it. Let me ask it this question. Whatever. Oh shit, let me start again. Blah 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 blah. And then you're like, all right, I think I know. And you twiddle around with it like that. That's how I want the tool to be.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely perfect. Okay, so what I'm going to do then is, I think I'm going to start with, I may as well start with this file that you just ran.
Yeah. So this is really what I think you ought to focus on prompting the most out of. Obviously, you have seen my system prompting. It's basically insultingly brief. But this is worse than you're being overly generous there. But the point is that even with shoddy workmanship, the analysis that comes out is still intelligent.
Yeah.
Right. And these things can really help you get unstuck when you're wondering, why does CreatorBot keep wanting to write to itself?
Yeah.
those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So this is why I think this is the part of the system that we would most benefit from you focusing on, is to be improving this system, the AI side of it, and me improving the coding part of it, because
Yep.
this is how we make high quality, reliable agents.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good to me. Sounds good.
Okay. Alrighty, I'll leave you to it then.
All right. Nice. Right. Yeah, that's really good. I entirely agree with that approach.
Okay, sweet.
I'm just going to get straight into it.
Alrighty, I'll keep going with I'll get the